Welcome to Shaman, the show that takes the BS out of being spiritual. I'm Adrian Bear, and I'm recording live in the beautiful city of Phnom Penh, Cambodia, the heart of Southeast Asia. So, today's a special day, guys. It is time for another viewer question. And big shout out to Nicholas Hayes, who asked me the question, what is God? What is God? That's a pretty fucking deep question there, Nicholas. So I'm going to say thank you for sending that one in. Now, the last episode I said I was going to talk all about spirits and sort of different categories of spirits. And I actually mentioned God in one of those. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Adrian, God is God. God isn't a spirit. Like, God is God. Well, let's think about this for a second. We're talking about a being or another being that exists somewhere that we can't actually see, he or she. They are able to influence things on a subtle level that we cannot really see in a very direct way. And they're responsible for all sorts of shit that happens in our lives. And again, we can't really directly see them. If you watched my last episode when I was talking about spirits, I sort of explained that, yeah, these beings exist on different dimensions, like different sort of energy levels of us. If something is moving fast enough, then we can't actually see it, but the effects sort of trickle down. So in my opinion, and also based upon what I've learned through doing ayahuasca so often, is that yes, God is in one of those categories of the spirits. Now, what makes something a God as compared to just a regular spirit? As I mentioned, these things are all different beings of the multiverse. So I would say that you could classify something as a god, A, if it gets worshipped a lot, B, if its energy, and I'm going to put links to my other things here, B, if its energy is a lot stronger, guys, a lot more forceful, and definitely a lot more potent as well. Like, these guys can cause all sorts of shit to happen, especially if they're prayed to in the right way. So yeah, gods or goddesses would definitely be on a different category. But that's not what most people think about when they think of God either. Not different sort of structures of beings that might have slightly more power than other beings. So I'm going to address the issue of the big man in the sky, the invisible man. All right. The way that I see reality, and actually like how it's come to me a lot through like doing ayahuasca so many times, because that's my fucking job. Reality is kind of like a giant mushroom, basically. Now, there's the big overall mushroom at the top, but then it has these threads that come down, sort of mycelial threads. You could even think of it as a tree if you want to. The different layers, or the different thicknesses of these different threads are kind of like the layers of reality. Every time we make a choice, it causes a new thread to pop out. So our consciousness, our focus, is on whatever piece of thread we're on. But every time a choice is presented to us, my belief is that we have to make all of these choices at the same time. So quantum physics is letting us know a lot about alternate realities and how something can be in a yes and a no state at the same time, guys. So I'm not a fucking scientist, but I'm just talking about like how I view these things. So you get given the opportunity to make a fucking choice, and it causes both of these things to happen. It causes separate realities to sort of form. If I have to think about God, the big God, it's going to be the entire mushroom itself, all the little threads, all the little choices. So it's an overarching kind of being. Now, in some of those threads on this mushroom, for example, maybe our parents would never have met, so we would never have been a little offshoot. So their reality would be completely different than our reality that we have now. In some of these realities, maybe we've joined up with another thread, you know, like getting married ourselves or being with someone, and some of them we won't. So God itself, it has to be something that takes care of the entire mushroom, all right? All of these choices, all of these possible choices have to exist for the entire structure to exist, all right? So somewhere out there in the multiverse, there is a you that is an absolute cunt, a really, really horrible, horrible person. But there's also the other end of the spectrum where you are just the ideal version of yourself. You have exactly everything that you want, and your life is just exactly how you want it. So these things exist on the same spectrum. God kind of has to be the same in a way, all right? Because there are all these little pocket realities that form, that consciousness of God will be specific to our local universe. If we go up a level, then we have more of like an over-God, you can say, until we get to the entire structure of the big-ass mushroom on top, which is God that sort of doesn't necessarily care about good or evil. It just cares that the mushroom is there. So, in some ways, if you're going to pray, it sort of helps you to pray to something that exists in our reality. So that's when I mentioned like the gods and the goddesses. Behind me on the wall, actually, I've got two pictures up. One of the Nigerian goddess Umaya that I painted, and another one of Ocean. So Umaya is the one up here, Ocean is up here. They are Nigerian Yoruba goddesses. They're called Orishas, and they're something that I've had dealings with in ayahuasca and in my personal life as well. So they are beings that are classified as gods. They have that amount of power to influence things a little bit more directly, and they're sort of helpful. Now, do I necessarily believe that something created everything and has an overall plan, an overall structure? Well, an overall plan, maybe sort of an overall plan. Yeah, I mean, why not an overall plan? But the plan could just be existence itself, right? That could be the actual plan. It couldn't be like, oh, this is going to happen here, that's going to happen here. The whole plan could just be fucking existence. I also believe that for any God to be a legit God, God cannot be infallible. If something is infallible and something is perfect, that means that it can't grow. It can't learn, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, would you want a rock kind of being God? Something that doesn't move, something that doesn't do anything, something that's not going to learn, something that's not going to grow, something that's not going to experience? I just happen to think that God is moving at a faster rate than us and has learned a whole lot more than us, and is willing to give us the time as well to learn and make sort of the same fuck-ups that God itself would have made. All right? Now, is God male or female? I'm not really sure. I think that yes, there is definitely a masculine energy out there. There's a feminine energy out there. There is the energy of sort of form and the energy of sort of heart out there. I believe in that for sure. Do I believe we should go off and kill each other because of these ideas of God? No. In my work on ayahuasca as a shaman, I'm going to be dead honest here. I went and I asked like the spirits that I have contact with on ayahuasca, is there a God? And even they don't know. Even the guys that exist up there in a different little dimension than us, even they don't know. But there is a lot of research that has gone into what happens to us when we pray, right? Like they've actually studied the brain, and they've studied these energy fields that sort of recur around us when we pray. And, well, I believe that that's there for a reason. I believe that something can listen to us and can help us. And I believe it's important because it actually helps you feel sort of better. It helps you put something in perspective. And it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like talking about your problems to a stranger. All right? A stranger who's just there, and their whole job is to listen and to be nice to you. So why not do it, guys? Okay. I hope that answered your question, Nick. If you guys have any questions, please email me on abareforchairman@gmail.com. And in about 2 weeks, I'm actually off to New Zealand. So hopefully I'll be able to borrow my sister's camera, and then I'll try and shoot some Shaman Sense episodes out there in the beauty that is New Zealand. I think you guys will enjoy that. All right, guys. I'm Adrian Bear. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for subscribing. Keep tuned. Peace.